What is up, Broncos country? We are back with another episode of the Buckem Pod. We got so much to get into. We're coming out with the 53-man roster projection. We'll see how it matches up well. I feel like this is a good time to get into the thick of things before the opening season comes into fruition. So that's Kinley. I'm Fanatic Dak, your host. You know how we do. If it ain't about the Broncos,
Buck.
Buckem.
Okay, let's go.
What is up? What is up, bro? How's it going?
Good. It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous, bro. Another beautiful day with you on the pod. As always, a blessing.
Yes, sir.
So, you and I have been talking to kind of get this 53-man projection, kind of get ahead of the curve, It's always fun to have some good discourse, to kind of see what our projections will be, and kind of see what Sean Payton and the Broncos organization, their projections will be. There's a lot of exciting players that are on this roster, but there also are going to be some exciting ones that have played well that'll miss the cut, So
Sad but true.
yeah. Without further ado, are you down to jump in?
Let's dive right on into it.
Let's dive on in. So the first position that I would like to touch on, the most important one in the NFL, you and I have been talking back and forth. Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, of course. Jarrett Steady Stidham doing his thing in preseason while Bo Nix, gets to relax. He's going to be just fine.
Yep.
But if you noticed here, Broncos country and the viewers watching this, we didn't include a third quarterback. Kinley, do you want to get into why that is?
Oh man, I just with so many other positions that you would love to have that extra depth there. I hope that they don't decide to keep three quarterbacks. So here's to hoping that they just keep two quarterbacks, especially with the running back position, tight end position. You want to have a little bit of depth at the tight end position, and maybe at the inside linebacker. We'll see, but I definitely hope that we do not go three quarterbacks. Here we got them only going two quarterbacks, and I think that's what all of Bronco country wants: two quarterbacks only.
Yeah, that's fair. I like it. But to kind of fill in the holes elsewhere, potentially running back, we went with 4 instead of 3 running backs, which is pretty solid. I think this list of running backs is pretty solid, man. It gives you, I think me and you try to go with like dynamic running backs. Maybe Sean's looking at that as well, hopefully. Because I like a J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, what they bring. But Tyler Bidet offers special teams. You see what he does on the field. He's been productive in preseason, especially coming back from injury, showing that he's still that solid running back that you can count on, And then Blake Watson, who you and I are very high on. It looks like he's probably going to be involved in special teams, I would hope for, as a kick returner, He's probably the best receiving running back out of the bunch right now, being that he was a wide receiver that transitioned to a running back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty high on him. He offers some pass receiving to the game as well as just running the football as well, and he looks solid. Dark horse that I think would make the roster over, say, a Jaleel McLaughlin or an Audric Estime, who's behind the 8 ball, in my opinion. What about you?
Barely. And it's going to be so hard to cut Blake Watson, especially what he brings. And I know some are saying, like, well, you kind of want Estime should make it because you want that power kind of back. I don't think that's the case. Maybe they explore options otherwhere, like, watch the wire cut downs and stuff like that, looking for a power back kind of. But if not, I'm very okay with going with these 4 running backs right here: JK, RJ, Bidet, and Watson. I just don't see how you can cut. Watson's making it very hard, and if I had to choose, I'm taking Watson over Jaleel.
And it seems like Dave Logan as well with KOA. Is he with KOA?
I believe so, maybe. Maybe so.
He was high on Blake Watson. It came out today as well.
Saw that.
So I guess me and you are have a great minds think alike.
Right. Right. Great
Awesome.
minds think alike.
Awesome. I love to see it. I love to hear it, rather. Let's drop in because we're going to tackle all the offense first, and then we'll get into the defense, I think. Let's touch on we're going to skip over the fullback room because there's a reason why. But wide receivers, let's get into that. We're keeping 6, man.
Yeah.
This is a very deep wide receiver room. I'll let you hit on that right away, and then I'll follow up after. Because
Yeah, you got your guarantees in there like Sutton, Mims, Vele, and damn sure guarantee Bryant, and how Troy Franklin's looking. Man, that's definitely your 5 horses right there. But Shearfield, I did not have him making this roster at first, but how he played in San Francisco, and then he also brings that special teams element to his game. I definitely got him getting that 6th spot. So I think this is your 6. I think they go with 6 just because, that wide receiver room shape out is everybody was shaky at first, but now it looks to be pretty solid, and it looks like you have some depth there also. So
I'm proven to talent, very talented and deep. You're going to be a lot of mouths to feed. You can throw in Evan Ingram, with like a tight end in a way. The way he's going to be integrated in this offense, getting a good share of volume of the catches as well in this offense.
Yeah.
And to touch on Evan Ingram, he's the joker in this, one of the jokers in this offense. Very special talent. You saw him rip off a big gain against the Cardinals in that one reception that he had, and he really showed off his speed in the yards after the catch that we hit on the previous pod as well. So I'm very excited about him. He's very as advertised. You pair him up with an Adam Troutman. That's kind of like your utility guy. Yeah, he can make some catches, but he's a solid blocker. Somebody that Sean Payton loves. We sneak in a Lucas Kroll, who I think just despite I think he's ahead of the 8 ball. I think in terms of understanding this offense, so he's ahead of guys like maybe a Caleb Lohner who we left off this roster that hasn't really shown much to me. So I'm leaving him off. But I think we can sneak him through the practice squad potentially. That's a risk that I'm willing to do because we do have a Caden Price-Scorn who I'll let you hit on, in this group.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we left off the fullback, because we've seen Caden line up at fullback in literally both preseason games, and we may see him line up at fullback again this coming up weekend against the Saints. But yeah, Loner, like he's not ready, and he hadn't played that much football. He hasn't really shown us literally nothing in the preseason except for penalties. Not his fault. Like I said, new to football. You got to get his legs underneath him and stuff like that. I feel like we can get him on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we can get him. He could be a practice squad guy, but I know we signed a fullback. I just don't think it guarantees him a roster spot just because we signed the fullback, because Atkins and Burton is hurt. So they'll miss the first couple of weeks of action, according to sources. And just listening to Sean Payton's press conference today at the podium, he was like, we may look around the league, especially during cuts, for that fullback / tight end type of, player, which makes me believe that, they're going to possibly keep 4 tight ends, because if you're looking for that type of player, you don't have that in Kroll. You can't line him up at no fullback. That's for sure.
Right.
And so that makes me feel like they're going to keep 4 to start off and maybe have Burton and Atkins, like Burton on the practice squad like they did last year. They elevated him 3 times, I believe he was on the practice squad. But I just can't see Loner. I can't see Loner making this 53 with what he's put out, unless he has a ginormous game versus the Saints. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And I don't think Sean wants that to happen. I think Sean wants to keep him under the radar, let him sit on that practice squad for a year, and pretty much redshirt him, just like he did with Lavelle Bailey. He did that one time, and I believe he did. Did he do that with Atkins? I believe he did that with Atkins too. So
he's still raw in some areas in terms of the run blocking, maybe. Just actually like the knowledge of playing the tight end position. It's a different transition from college to the NFL. So I can see, your point of him just sitting back on the practice squad. But let's move on to the offensive tackle position. We got Garrett Bowles, who's turned out to be solid for us while protecting Bowles' blind spot. We got McGlinchey, Palczewski, and Matt Parrott, who's also a solid backup, swing tackle kind of guy.
Yep.
That I'm excited about. He's just solid. You know what you're getting out of him. This room, you know what you're getting out of. So yeah, this is what we felt like was gonna be the room going into the season. These guys right here. So, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean that's your solid. I mean, Pert gives you that guard and tackle option also. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much set in stone. There was no argument of any sneaky guy coming up there, possibly taking Pert's spot or Paltro's spot. I mean, I think those are guys. Paltro has struggled a little bit in the preseason, but I feel like he'll bounce back. I feel like
Yeah. Maybe trying to get into that game shape, knocking off the rust
yeah,
has something to do with it. But I mean, last season he was solid too, in
right.
the absence of McGlinchey. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the offensive guard position. You get a first team All Pro and Quinn Miners, who is very solid run blocker and pass blocker, very solid. Excited about. And then you have Powers, on the other side. So I think that's pretty solid. And then you got Calvin Throckmorton. Unfortunately, I was really looking forward to Nick Garzulio making this roster. He ends his season with a torn ACL, put on injured reserve. But he would have been an exciting guy as a developmental guy to put in this on the depth chart this season. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But Throckmorton is solid as well.
Yep.
So I feel very confident in his abilities to back up Powers and Miners. So what do you think, bro?
Yeah, and not to mention, not trying to jump positions, but when you go to center, Forsyth can play center and guard too, along with Pert playing tackle and guard. So that just gives you more options. So Throckmorton
Versatility.
it gives you that versatility, more options. So Throckmorton can back up the left or the right. I think keeping 9 offensive linemen, I think that's in, that's where we'll go. I mean, maybe 8, but I feel like we'll keep 9 just for that depth purposes. So
Yeah, I agree with you. And then we kept Wattenberg, and then as you mentioned, Forsyth.
yep.
Wattenberg, I think I'm hoping that he takes that step that Lloyd Cushenberry did in a contract year. When we ended up moving off of him, and went with Wattenberg, because Sean Payton must have seen what he liked last season. He was a little, suspect in the run game in terms of setting his anchor,
A little.
holding his blocks. I'm just being, you know what.
I know. We gonna be nice. We gonna be nice. We're being nice. We'll be nice. I mean, to cut you off though, I hope Forsyth takes the job because all he's missing is power in his game.
Yeah.
Like if he gets that, the job is his. Because I feel
know,
like he overall is better. All he's just missing is that power aspect.
like getting to the second level, and blocking down, going downfield blocking, and I felt like he had more of an impact when he filled the void when Wattenberg was out. I forget how many games or so, but remember Forsyth last year did very well filling in, despite the blunder with the Chiefs, but that was on special teams. So that's okay. But I really like Forsyth, and I do because I'm an Oregon Duck fan too. So there's maybe a little bias in me, but
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. On to the elite defense.
The
Woo!
defense, baby.
This one was a tough one for me too. You and I had some good discussion about this, some good discourse. But of course, you're never going to cut the defensive player of the year in Patrick Surtain, the second PS2.
You mean he made the team? Wow.
An all pro. Give him the accolades. Special talent. We got Riley Mosh, Jaquan McMillan, Jade Barron, KAD, Chris Abrams Drain. Very solid cornerback room, who I think this room is very versatile. In terms of what they can offer in this room. They can also, like you and I have talked about in the past on past episodes, is just that these guys can start anywhere else in the league. Like KD, Jody Barron, we know probably could too. McMillan, So I'm very confident in this secondary, as I'm sure you are. But give me your take on it, bro.
I mean, there's not really much to say about this. I mean, this is your five corners. They've shown you enough on the field, especially in the preseason. I mean, besides after Chris Abrams drained Mathis, he's giving up touchdowns. We haven't seen much from him. The only one that you could possibly say if they keep six is Pickett, because he's made at least some plays. But no, I believe we'll go with five here, and this is your five right here: Surtain, Moss, McMillan, Barron, and Chris Abrams drain.
Yeah, I like it. And the thing with Jody Barron is he could play some safety if it was an emergency.
Right.
So that's pretty good. You can make the argument with the next position that we're going on into at safety. We got Hufanga, we got Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, JL Skinner, and Sam Franklin. Do we keep that many safeties with Barron at the secondary? We'll find out. Is Sean willing to cut one of these safeties? Knowing that he has Barron as a weapon, and does Vance Joseph feel some type of way? It'll be interesting to see how they feel, what direction they really go. I think I'd be happy with it with the keeping these safeties though. What about you, bro?
Yeah, and Sean Payton kind of alluded to it today. He mentioned Jenkins when he was a slot safety guy in New Orleans, and he pretty much said what Barron's going to be is that slot boundary guy. So I don't think he envisions him playing safety. So
Okay.
I definitely think you go with five. At first, I was thinking four, but you made a great point. Who's going to be the gunner on special teams? Sam Franklin's one. Who's going to be the other one? I don't know, because I can tell you now, in that first preseason game, and even in this last one, our gunners looked horrible.
Yeah.
Looked horrible. And so, I mean, you have to have – I don't think you cut JL Skinner. I would hope you don't cut JL Skinner. He's shown promise, and I like what he – not as a gunner. Take him away from gunner, please. But I liked what I've seen in JL so far, and I feel like he can continue to elevate his game. And he's wonderful on special teams, just wonderful. So having Hufanga, Jones, and Locke as your defensive guys, and Skinner and Franklin as your special teams guys, I think that's perfect right there. So
like it a lot. I mean, like PJ Locke was just a starter last year, so
right.
Really,
he knows this defense. He knows his defense.
Exactly. So I feel very confident with him being as a depth piece, man. He could be starting anywhere else too. Like what I mean. You know what I mean?
Let's go that far.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Ish.
Yeah. Ish. Right.
That's fair, bro. That's fair. I'm getting too ahead of my skis on that one. I apologize. But the linebacker position, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one because I already see you drooling from your mouth. You're foaming. I don't know if you got rabies or it's just seeing Drake Greenlaw's name at the top.
Man, as long as my dogs stay healthy, that's all that matters. But anyway, I wanted us to keep five, but I feel like we'll go with four. I wanted us to keep five because, you do have Drake Greenlaw and Singleton coming off injuries. They haven't really been that healthy lately, but they seem like they're getting back to full health. But, of course, Bailey, Strenard, having them as backups, I feel like they can come in and I won't be as worried anymore. I liked what I saw from them a little bit in the preseason. Now, if they do keep five, I do think it would be out of Kerryon Reed and Turner. I will say that. It'll be out of them two if they go with five. Could I see them go? We still don't know. There's one we're forgetting on here, and even though he's injured, Sanders. We don't know when he'll be back. We don't know the timeline. It just determines how many linebackers they decide to keep. This one's a toss-up. We went with four because that's what we just feel like, but I won't be surprised if we go with five. But we got four here. These are your four due to Sanders being injured. And if Sanders wasn't injured, I'll tell you this. I think Justin Strenard's off this roster because I think Lavelle Bailey.
Yeah.
I really do. But this is what we have, and this is what it is.
And, being that just if Sanders were to come back from injury, depending what the time frame is, when he does come back, this is a linebacker room that we've mentioned in the past that has been derailed by injuries. The number of guys in this room, linebacker room. So say if somebody did go down and it's around that time, maybe that Sanders is coming up, back off of the injured reserve, then cool. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but
Yeah,
never wish injury on anybody.
right.
But here we are. We're at the edge position, one of the deepest on this roster, as well
Yes.
as to go along with that wide receiver room. One of our
Yep.
deeper positions. Nick Bonito, very special guy, very special talent. Talked about his contract extension today. I think in a press conference today. He feels very confident that something is going to get done, and there's no panic on his end. The sense that I got from him, just talking to the reporters or the media in general. So yeah, I'm excited though, bro. Pay the guy
Yeah.
immediately.
Get that done. Get that done as soon as you can, which they feel like it'll get done. Mike Kliss had reported that he feels like it'll get done before the start of the season. So let's hope that happens. But good signs that he mentioned it, brought it up today, and he feels like it'll get done. So let's hope so. We got the richest owners in the NFL, so I'm very positive they'll get something done.
Yeah. And you saw the way he played against the 49ers, man, just
Yeah,
dominant.
I didn't need to see him for the rest of the preseason after what he did in that series. He wrecked the whole series. I don't need to see you until the Titans, buddy.
Very Von Miller-esque.
Right.
So I love the get off too, man. I'm just like,
Yeah.
damn, dude, like a NASCAR.
Yep.
But Jonathan Cooper, you know what he is. He's an excellent pairing to go with Nick Bonito. Both of those played a big role in the 63 sacks that they had last season. Can we talk enough about Jonah Ellis? Probably not, but
Probably not.
he's a special talent as well. Love the way he's put on a show in the preseason as well. And then you got Dondre Tillman, who's really nice, from the UFL a season ago or two, I think. Special. And then you got Q Robinson, who you just drafted, special teams ace, but also a very nice edge rusher that I think can develop into something quite nice with excellent bend, and speed off the line. So, yeah, what do you think, bro?
Man, you got your consistent edge rushers at the top, but Jonah Ellis, Tillman, and Robinson as your depth, man, that's wonderful. That is one like Robinson. I feel like with a year in the NFL under his belt, I feel like he's going to be something special. You already know what you got in Jonah. You seeing it in preseason. Like this guy looks like he's taking this game to the next level, and he was already at a pretty good level. And Tillman, I definitely people would say like, why are you keeping so many edge rushers? You can never have too many pass rushers. First off, remember that,
Right.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think Ellis and Tillman combined for 10 sacks last season. In the rotational role. So you just can't let talent walk out the door like that. So these are our edge guys. I say we go with 5. Yeah.
I like him. D lineman, we got Zach Allen, special talent as well. 40 quarterback hits, nobody had really done that, I think, since Aaron Donald, the
Yeah.
impact that he has in that interior, bringing stuff in the run and bringing the pass rush special, making life easier for the edge rushers that we just mentioned, John Franklin Myers, that we got for basically a Happy Meal. Let's call it what it is. Special.
Thank you, Jets. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And then DJ Jones, one of the other Niners that he was with us already, but one of the good Niners from that defense. We gave him an extension. I'm happy to have him back. And he's an impact as well in the run game. Very excited. Malcolm Roach, who I'm excited. And this guy, I feel like I wish we could keep him as well. We'll find out what the way things go with his contract. But he was under the radar signing, I feel like, the last off season that really helped this run defense really improve from the year prior, And then you drafted LSU Savion Jones, who many seem to think that could be a potential replacement for a John Franklin Myers if
We'll
a
see.
contract extension doesn't get done with him. We'll find out. And then Uwazurike, who's another special player. I think, he's had, what do you call it, some humbling, and it looks like
Yep.
he's really put the work in to provide some solid depth that we'll need in this defensive line. I don't know if this will be too many linemen? I don't think so. What do you think, bro?
It does look like a lot when you look at it. I kind of at first thought they would go with 5, but we're gonna go with 6 just to be safe. I feel like Awazarike would be that next guy. I mean, Sean Payton has had high praise for him, and so having Roach as a backup is like George Payton. Salute to you, sir, because damn, that is crazy work, buddy.
Yes.
Crazy work. But yeah, like this is the D line. If they go with 5, I feel like Wazirike would be a practice squad guy, with Savion making it, of course. But we'll say for right now they'll go with 6. With one preseason game still left to play, it's so tough to do these roster predictions because you never know what could happen.
Right. Exactly. And then the kicker, you know what it is, bro.
We know. Big nuts Lutz. We get
Big
it.
nuts, Lutz. Yep. Think the words right out of my mouth.
Yep.
I know a lot of people when we first traded him for him, a lot of folks kind of seemed like they weren't really happy, but I'm glad we did trade for him.
Yeah,
he's solid. You know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, the next 3, Kershaw, he definitely punted better in his second game than his first game. So just more reps, more live reps. Let him get his feet underneath him. I think he'll be fine. And our long snapper, Fabroni.
Yeah.
So
and hustles. He's a hustler too. There's been some clips that I've seen him just hustling down the field, and I'm like, if my long snapper is doing some kind of hustling, yeah, you my guy.
Yeah.
The thing. So this is our roster projection, all 53. I anticipate some surprises, surprise cuts. Of course, hopefully we'll be as close to perfect, but I doubt it. But this is good discussion.
What's going to happen at fullback?
I mean, if you guys are watching this, please chime in and comment what you guys think, where we went wrong. We're always open to the feedback. So. Yep. Thank you. What do you feel, bro? How are you feeling about going into this last season's game?
I feel great. I'll actually be there. I'll be in New Orleans at the Saints and Broncos game. So if anybody is going to the games, hit me up on Twitter at Kinley. Maybe we can meet up. Chat a little bit. We'd love that. But that's all we got for today. We appreciate everybody who tunes in. I believe right now we are 14 subs away from 200. Which was our goal for the start of the season. So help us get there. Like and subscribe to the page at Buckem. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter. It's all at Buckem. And remember, if it ain't about the Broncos, Buckem.
Buckem.